Yeah. Yeah.
Today I'm going to go through with you a technique on using Vivid when it comes to something that is not a long-term commitment. So we've had a lot of people who are in quarantine who aren't working at the moment, who all are working from home, who have absolutely no job restrictions. So this is one good example of a way to do a Vivid on someone's hair that they can then down the track either change completely or go back to a blonde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with my darker colour on the root, so with our fuchsia and our pastel clear. We've got the recipes there for you guys. The reason being going through on the regrowth with the darker one is when I come back later on in 6 to 8 weeks and pre-lighten all of this regrowth again, we can overlap and take that out. So it's just a really nice way to give someone a vivid colour that's not necessarily a permanent commitment. So what I'm going to do now is go through and put the darker one in my root.
Think I got gold in me out. Think I got silver in me out. I think I got bronze in me out. Think I got drugs in me out. Think I got money in me out. I think I got lost in me out. Think I got gold in me out. Think I got silver in me out. I think I got bronze in me out. Think I got drugs in me out. Think I got money in me out. Yeah. Yeah.
So now for this next section, I am going to keep it nice and snug into the regrowth application. I'm actually using half sea blue and half pastel pink, and that creates more of sort of this neon blue, which we love so much, which is, we get asked a lot what's in my hair, because it does look quite neon, and that's one of the recipes that we use to achieve it, is just to get that sort of like punchy neon colour coming in. So once again, it's half sea blue and half pastel pink. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to come in, I'm going to repeat the entire process, keeping it nice and snug into what I've already done, not overlapping it too much. Obviously it will create a beautiful purple colour in between these two, keeping them as far separated from each other, because I do want to have the difference between the pink and the blue in the regrowth, because we are leaving a negative space, and then we're going to come in with our green through the bottom. So I'll just go ahead and do that.
Only weed crumbs, it's probably fine, I'll just smoke them till I feel numb, hey. I think I got lost in me out. Think I got gold in me out. Think I got silver in me out. I think I got bronze in me out. Think I got drugs in me out. Think I got money in me out. I think I got lost in me out. Think I got gold in me out. Think I got silver in me out. I think I got bronze in me out. Think I got drugs in me out. Think I got money in me out. I
are leaving a negative space in this colour. When I say negative space, I mean leaving some of the pre-lightened hair. What we're going to do is we're going to come in with our most pastel of our colours, which we have here is half pastel clear with a dot of emerald green. And coming through, not even on the underneath section because it's too short because we are a bit of a concave bob. Coming in, leaving a negative space, and just going through and pastelising just the very ends. So I'll go around the whole head and do that the whole way around. Once again, just coming in and just pastelising some of these ends.
Think I got silver in me outline. I think I got bronze in me outline.
So once again, we've gone through with a very small root stretch of your fuchsia pink and your pastel clear. Then coming in where we've created more of a neon blue with our sea blue and pastel pink, leaving a negative space in through the mids, and then coming on to like a beautiful sort of sea green on the ends, which is made up of our pastel clear with our emerald green. Now, going back as to why we're doing a colour like this is because let's say we've got someone who's in isolation, or someone who is a blonde, or someone who has more of a conservative sort of hair colour, who wants to try something different, for a festival, because they're in an isolation environment, or don't want to have anything too permanent, they've got job interviews coming up, whatever the scenario is. This is a really good way of giving them some colour so that when they come back for their next colour and they have a regrowth, what we can potentially do is go in and then lighten out their regrowth and then take out this colour band, which will be down here, and by then these ends will have faded out. So you can potentially get them back to a nice clean blonde, and then they've had a vivid colour in between, which is something that we do occasionally, actually probably more often than not in here, for our clients that are that little bit more conservative. Now, I understand that that is probably not the case for most people, but if you are presented with a situation where someone does want something a little bit more temporary, this is a great go-to. Question that we probably get asked a lot is, how do you rinse this? There's a couple of ways to go about it. So what we would do with our client is we would politely ask them to come over to the basin, and obviously with a junior's help or anyone that we can get to help, what we would like to do is hold this out. So what we want to do is remove our darkest, brightest colours first. The way that we do it at the basin is with complete cold water, not even a little bit of warm water at all, and with quite high water pressure, and come in holding this out and blasting all of this root colour out first, just to stop any transferring. The Muk Vivids are quite good. They don't transfer if you do rinse them in cold water, but I mean, if I smudge that into that, obviously it's going to transfer. So you do want to be a little bit careful. I just believe that there's no point in being more careful than ruining your colour at like the last minute. So we'll bring her over to the basin and I'll show you exactly how we go about rinsing her.
Drugs in me outline. Think I got money in me outline. I don't need love. I could live in outer space. It's just all these other people make me feeling out of place. I don't need drugs. It just helps me with the pain. Hoping that I don't OD. My sister's calling me insane. I don't need love. I just re-up. I ain't eating if I didn't get a free lunch. I don't need lungs, only weed crumbs. It's probably fine, I'll just smoke them till I feel numb. Hey, I think I got lost in me outline. Think I got gold in me outline. Think I got silver in me outline. Think I got bronze in me outline. Think I got drugs in me outline. Think I got money in me outline. I think I got lost in me outline. Think I got gold in me outline. Think I got silver in me outline. I think I got bronze in me outline. got drugs in me out line. Think I got money in me out line. Yeah. Yeah.
So here we are with our finished result with our negative space. One thing that I do want to point out to you guys is, as we said earlier, by leaving this negative space, it gives us room to move later. So to change this colour, all we really need to do is lighten out this section here, because this section from here to here will fade naturally, which means that this client can have a total look, a total colour for an event or for however long they want it. I mean, they can come back and have it redone if that's what they choose to do. But just by doing the root the whole way around, no matter how they part it or where they wear it, if they want to wear it up into little space buns or pigtails or anything to show off the majority of the colour, what we are remembering here is that this colour is mainly blonde apart from the root section. So it is very easy to remove and it is really easy to change at a later date.
I ain't eating if I didn't get a free lunch. I don't need lunch, only weed crumbs.